work, no rest for the real. Still spine straight, I'm a soldier, no chill. Snakes in the grass, they creep and conceal. 20/30 vision, better sharpen your steel. We won't stop, I won't quit. Stand for the truth, no counterfeit. Real ones rise, let the fake ones split. Repent for the lies, let the darkness live. Echoes in the swamp, whispers in the wind. Legacy to build, can't let the devil win. Cash rules the weak, but my soul don't bend. 20/30 knocking, better cleanse that sin. They want us to sleep, but the light stays on. Fake smiles, fake friends, all of them gone. Cages of comfort, we breaking out strong. Roots in the south, but the fight's lifelong. We won't stop, I won't quit. Stand for the truth, no counterfeit. Real ones rise, let the fake ones split. Repent for the lies, let the darkness live. Prepare for the storm, skies turning gray. The wolves in the suit got dues to pay. From the ashes we climb, no time to delay. The real ones prepare for the judgment day. Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to ARP in the morning. What's going on with you guys, man? I hope all is well on this fine Tuesday morning. We getting at it. You know me, I've been up and at 'em early this morning. I had a really good workout. I'm a little tired, but we here. We are here. And I appreciate you guys pulling up this morning, man. I hope all is well with you guys, in the chat. Shout out to all my ARP family members, man. Appreciate you guys pulling up. Let me show some love to my folks in the chat real fast. We're going to get the show started. Excuse me. What's going on, Miss Lori Addison? How you doing this morning? Says, good morning, Wise and ARP family. Let's all hit that like button on the way in. Yes, please hit that like button for me. We got 102 people in here early. Yeah, hit that like button for me if you could. I really appreciate that. What's going on, Redefined Queen? What's going on, my brother Hunter? What's going on with you, bro? Got to start us off with the verse of the day. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of darkness, the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. Oh, yeah. That's one of my favorite verses right there. And thank you, Hunter, for always hitting us up, with a good verse to get the day started. I do appreciate that. And we're definitely there. We're definitely there. I think a lot of people think that we are, are truly wrestling against flesh and blood, but it's not, man. There's a spiritual war going on. Spiritual warfare is happening. And so many people are caught up in the wrong things and not realizing that, hey, the battle is here. It's real. And it's really a battle between good and evil. And we're seeing it play out right before our eyes. Right? Thank you, Hunter. Appreciate that, man. What's going on, Larry Montgomery, Kevin Caldwell, Donald Lovejoy, Elizabeth Q? What's going on with you guys? Appreciate you all pulling up. Big Job Forward in the building. Shout out to you, brother. Who else we got up in here? LHF Guardian Rob. Y'all make sure y'all also show Southern Red, show her some love, in the chat. I believe this might be her first time, or she one of the first times in the chat. So y'all make sure y'all show Southern Red some love. What's going on, Nelly? How you doing this morning? Dagny Taggart, what's going on? Big Tim, shout out to you, man. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Brian Gable, Shout out to you. Appreciate you pulling up. What's up, Ed Mar, JJ O'Hara? What's up, Carol Reyes and Scott Young? Kenneth Tatum. What's up with you, brother? I'll see you a little later today. What's going on, man? I hope y'all doing well. What's up, Monica? How you doing? Or Monisa? Sorry about that. Appreciate you pulling up. I love the USA. Appreciate you pulling up. Toy Mafia. We got Albie Hicks. Shout out to you, man. Appreciate you guys pulling up. What up, C. Bergie? How's it going this morning? And shout out to Dwayne Burris joining the ARP family. Shout out to you. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. I appreciate it. I definitely do. I do not take it for granted, man. You know, when you on this side of the aisle, you know, and we, you know, discuss the things that we discuss, you know, we don't necessarily get a lot of love out there, man. So, you know, you guys supporting me in that way really, really means a lot, man. I do appreciate it. I don't take it for granted at all. I don't take it for granted at all. Shout out to Billboard Bills. What's up, Yaya? How you doing this morning? The name of the song is called We Won't Stop. That is the name of the intro song. I highly doubt you're going to find it anywhere else but here. I haven't made a video, but I will put something out for the channel members. I'll make that happen sometime this week for my channel members that would like access, you know, to this track. You'll have access to all the channel members as well as the you know, the stable track, you know, A Righteous Perspective. That track is available as well, you know, for the members in the members only aspect of the channel. So you guys have that there, you know, but thank you guys, man. Thank you guys for pulling up this morning, man. We got a lot to get into. What's going on, Crystal? How you doing this morning? Thank you very much. It's good to be back. Good to be back. You know, we right back at it, almost like we never left. But it was awesome yesterday, man. I kind of thought that you guys would have forgot about me, man. I was gone about a week and a half, you know, on vacay. And, you know, I thought y'all was going to forget about me, man. But we had, man, upwards of, you know, 400 people in here yesterday, you know, in the live chat, man, which was awesome. Awesome. What's up, AK Bauer? How you doing this morning? Northeast PA says it's a little chilly. Yeah, this morning when I went outside this morning, now mind you, y'all know I get up with the chickens. You know, I might be up before the chickens. You know, before the sunrise or before the rooster crows. You know, I'm up. But when I went outside this morning, yeah, it was on the chillier side of things. It was on the chillier side of things. As I like the summer, but in all actuality, I really like the in between months. You know, that fall and that spring time frame. I don't like it when it's freezing cold, and I don't care for it when it's blazing hot and the humidity is at 100%. I can't stand that either. Man, if I could live somewhere where it was, you know, 70 to 80 degrees on a day-to-day basis, that would be awesome. Maybe, you know, when it does get cold, it drops down. Maybe it drops down into the, you know, between 45, 55. I can handle that because I can still get out and play golf in that weather. But, you know, when it gets past that, oh, man, it's just too much. It's too daggone cold. Too cold. But I appreciate you guys pulling up, man. Hit that like button for me if you haven't done so already. Hit that like button for me if you have not done so already. That's the one thing I will say, you know, for all my Georgia folks, you know, that's the one thing I do not like, you know, about Georgia, the humidity. And for it to be, especially Atlanta, I mean, we're like 4 hours from the ocean. I don't understand why it's so daggone hot and humid down there. I get the heat because it's the South, but the humidity, goodness gracious. I just don't understand it. I mean, it's like 4 hours away. If I'm not mistaken, Atlanta is, if I'm not mistaken, it's about 3.5 to 4 hours away from the ocean. I do not understand why it's so humid down there. Here, where I live at, here in Maryland, we get the humidity because we're right on the water. I mean, the bay, I mean, I could almost, actually, I could walk to where the water is from where I live at. We're not that far away. So I get why it's so humid out here, but I just, for the life of me, I never understood that. I've never understood it. And pretty much my entire adult life, I've lived in a city near the ocean. Pretty much my entire adult life. As you guys know, I was in the Navy. And then from there, you know, if you're going to be in the Navy, for the most part, you're going to live in places where there's water. You know, so I've been out in the Seattle area. I've been in Hawaii. I lived in Hawaii for 2 years. I was out in Seattle for a year. You know, I've been on this side of things, you know, out here in the DMV, you know, out here in the Baltimore area for a little minute. But the humidity is ridiculous out here. If you know anything about the DMV and the humidity, because we're right here near the water and then we got a couple really big rivers, it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. But we're going to get the show started, man. If you could hit that like button for me, man. Super chat, super thanks would be greatly appreciated. I do appreciate you guys supporting the channel in that way. Anybody that joins that ARP family or gifts an ARP family membership, they'll definitely be acknowledged as well. What's going on, LJ Taylor? How you doing this morning, sister? Appreciate you pulling up. Oh man, said it's 89 degrees in Central and South Georgia. Good Lord, already? Woo. Now, the DMV, for those out here, if you're from this area, matter of fact, what's really crazy is out here, this is what we call this the DMV area, DC, Maryland, Virginia. That's what the DMV stands for. But we actually don't have DMVs in Maryland. If you anything that you have to do with your car, it's called the MVA, Motor Vehicle. What does the A stand for? I think it's association or something along those lines, but it's the MVA. It's not the DMV. So when I first moved out here, is that what it is? Association, Maryland Vehicle Association? Yeah, the MVA. So when I first moved out here, I was asking people about the DMV. I was like, where's the DMV? Because I need to get tags on my car. And they're like, the DMV, you in the DMV? And I was like, no, like where you get the tags and stuff. They were like, oh, the MVA. And I was like, interesting. I'd never heard of MVA before until I moved out here. Now in Georgia, it's called the DMV. Everywhere else I lived, it's called the DMV, except for this place here. It's the craziest thing ever. But yeah, DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia. For those that know, if you know, you know. If you live out this way, if you've been out this way, you just know. Everybody just calls it the DMV. It's so tight and compact. I mean, you literally can from Maryland to Virginia, from Maryland to DC, hop, skip, and a jump. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the state's small. It don't take but 2 hours. You can ride through the entire state in about 2 hours if there's no traffic anyway. Blazen said, I thought the DMV didn't claim Baltimore. Nah, Baltimore is a part of the DMV. Baltimore's a part of the DMV. Although Baltimore and DC, heated rival, they don't really care for each other. And what's really crazy is you'll meet people from DC that have never been to Baltimore. And I've met people from Baltimore, born and raised, and they've never been to DC. It's the craziest thing ever. And we're talking it's about 28 to 30 miles away from each other. And they've never gone. Yeah, oh, bruh. Mike C., the traffic up here is outrageous. And since the bridge went down, the bridge has been down a little over a year now. Oh, bro, it's even worse. It's even worse. It's even worse. Since that bridge got knocked down by the ship, a little over a year ago, it's even worse, man. It is crazy. Mike C., you ain't lying. You ain't lying. I used to live in Maryland, just south of DC, on the border. Basically, the next exit, you were crossing the bridge to get to Virginia. I worked in Tyson's at that time. If you're familiar with the area, I worked in Tyson's in Tyson's Corner at that time. It was like 4 or 5 exits, and it could take you an hour to drive 4 or 5 exits on 495. That's how bad the traffic is out here. And if it rains or anything crazy, forget about it. Forget about it. Oh, it's definitely worse than Atlanta. It's definitely worse than Atlanta. Goodness gracious. Oh, yeah, I know about Olney. Olney's nice, man. That's nice. That's Montgomery County. That's actually a nice area. But 495 is ridiculous. That's why I don't like going to D.C. It's ridiculous. The traffic's crazy. Parking's crazy. I just don't. That's why, I turn down Wizards tickets. I turn down stuff to go to D.C. all the time because I don't want to deal with the traffic. I want no parts of it. Want no parts of the traffic. It's crazy, man. Crazy. But we're going to get things kicked off, man. We're going to talk about Hunter Biden. We're going to talk about him. Obviously, for the most part, he was mostly silent throughout, his father's administration or presidency, however you want to look at it. He hadn't done a whole lot of media, had, rarely spoken publicly. And for the most part, he flown under the radar, but now the crash out is something serious. We're going to get into it. But before we get into that, though, and before we dive into the story of the day, and we got a couple, show won't be too long today, but we got to talk about and not necessarily I don't want to discuss it, but I want to acknowledge, the brother Malcolm Jamal Warner. I think a lot of us grew up watching. I grew up watching Malcolm Jamal Warner, Theo Huxtable from the Cosby Show. It's just unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate to see a young man, 54 years old, pass away. They say that he drowned in a tragic accident while vacationing down in Costa Rica over the weekend. Got caught in the current, off of Playa Grande. And if you know anything about that ocean, man, it's no joke. The ocean is no joke, and it's just unfortunate, man. It's just unfortunate. Malcolm, he was a part. Hey, I grew up watching him, man. Grew up watching him. It almost feels like, when you see people like that, especially, positive folks like him, and you see them perish, man, it's almost like losing a family member almost, because these are people that I've watched, man. I remember being a kid watching this young man. And to hear about this, man, it's sad, man. Sad. Really is, man. Really sad. A lot of childhood memories, watching the Cosby Show. Theo was a part of, so many of our childhoods, childhood memories, and it's a loss, man. And my thoughts, my prayers, condolences to his family. It's just awful, man. It really is. It's awful. It really is to see a young man, at 54. I'm not much younger, but it's awful, man. And that ocean, man, that undertow, the riptides, things of that nature, man. When you're dealing with that ocean, man, it is no joke, man. And it's just sad. It really is, man. So my thoughts, my prayers, condolences to his family, and rest in peace, brother. It's sad, man. Rest in peace, man. Goodness gracious. That wasn't supposed to loop. Oh, man. All right. We're going to get into the show, man. Hit that like button for me if you haven't done so already. Yeah, that's hard to make that transition. Goodness gracious. All right, let's keep going. All right. We're going to transition, man. We're going to get into the show. Like I said, if you haven't done so already, man, hit that like button for me.
Be like all these Democrats say, you have to talk about and realize that people are really upset about illegal immigration. Fuck you. How do you think your hotel room gets cleaned? How do you think you got food on your fucking table? Who do you think washes
Sorry about
your
the language.
dishes? Who do you think does?
That's why I was like, man, the transition, it's going to be difficult getting into this.
your fucking garden? Who do you think is here by the fucking sheer fucking just grit and will that they figured out a way to get here because they thought that they could give themselves and their family a better chance? And he's somehow convinced all of us that these people are the fucking criminals?
All right, so we got to talk about Hunter Biden. He appeared on he appeared on a web series. I guess it's called the Andrew Callaghan's web series, Channel 5. He appeared there the other day, and he had a lot to say, including telling George Clooney to screw off. I'm not gonna go there with him in the gutter. I'm not gonna go there with him. But man, it is a crash out for sure. I don't know who told him that this would be okay to do, but it's a crash out for sure. So the former president's son recently went on this podcast and just launched into this bizarre foul-mouthed tirade that tells us more about how the Biden family really feels than any White House briefing ever could. Hunter first started, with an explanation into how easy it is to make crack. Hey, he started going into the explanation about how easy it is to make crack, and then tries to prevent himself from getting too excited about remembering how awesome it was. You can't make this stuff up, man. You can't make this stuff up, man. Now, we never found out, they said they found, some cocaine or some crack or something like that in the White House, about a year or so ago. We never found out whose it was, but I got a sneaky suspicion. Oh my goodness. There's something else.
I mean,
well, because they think cocaine, Scarface, very cool. Yeah. Crack cocaine, they think The Wire.
Oh, in that sense, absolutely.
You know what I mean? They don't know how similar the chemical compounds are.
Well, the only difference between crack cocaine and cocaine is sodium bicarbonate and water and heat.
Telltale signs of a crackhead.
Chemical compounds are.
Well, the only difference.
You see the lips, you see the mouth. When you see the mouth start to kind of turn sideways, telltale sign of a crackhead. I'm just saying.
Between crack cocaine and cocaine is sodium bicarbonate and water and heat. Literally. That's it.
And those things are pretty much free if you go to a science store.
This is free. You can go to your neighborhood convenience store and just get. Anyway, I don't want to tell people how to make crack cocaine, but it literally is a mayonnaise jar, cocaine, and baking soda.
How different is the experience?
It's vastly, vastly different. And for real, I feel really reluctant to kind of have some euphoric discussion. I know you're not asking me to do.
Hey, Kenneth, you're dead giveaway. If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
But have some euphoric discussion about crack cocaine.
I think this might be kind of the opposite here.
Okay, no, it's the exact opposite. I'm saying I don't want to have the experience of some euphoric recall. That's how powerful crack cocaine is. Does crack cocaine make you act any differently? No. Is it safer than alcohol? Probably. People think of crack as being dirty. It's the exact opposite. When you make crack, what you're doing is you're burning off all the impurities so that it combines with the sodium bicarbonate, which makes it smokable. That's all. All of these actors and, people in the past that talked about they had a problem with cocaine and freebasing. They were smoking crack.
So straw on the stove is the same thing?
Not exactly, but close to it. But it's a little bit different. But anyway.
Yo, I'm telling you, the crash out scene around the world. Shout out to Hunter, man, with the $10 super chat. When it's smart to stay silent, the idiots become the loudest. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, there is no shortage of people telling all their business on the internet, bro. There is no shortage of people telling all their business on the internet. Here you got the president's son talking about cooking up crack. This is crazy. Oh my goodness. What? What? This dude he said that crack is safer than alcohol. Whoa. I've never heard that before. I've never heard that before. And if you guys know anything about crackheads, I will say this. The one thing that I do know about crackheads, man, they are some MacGyver type people, yo. I've seen some things. I've seen some things. Like crackheads, they can get a job done. I'll tell you that much. They can get a job done. Goodness gracious. Superhuman strength, all types of craziness, bro. But this dude said, I'm not going to tell people how to do it. But I'm not going to tell people how to do it. But here's how you do it. Like, what are we doing? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, man. Hey, shout out to Matt Green with the $5 super chat. Says, good morning, Wise. Greatly enjoy your show and your honesty. Keep up the good work, man, and keep spreading the Lord's word. God bless you and your family, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. I've never heard somebody say that crack was safer. I've never heard someone say crack is safer than alcohol. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that alcohol is great, but there is a difference between you take a sip of alcohol and smoke a crack rock. The reaction's completely different. Seriously. I've never heard that before. This dude really got on here and said, I'm not going to tell people, how to do it, but hey, this is how you do it. I mean, this is wild, man. And the crazy part is, it only gets worse. It gets more unhinged from there. At one point, oh my goodness. B, come on now. I'm more on the higher end side of things. You know what I'm saying? If I'm gonna sip on a little something, I'm on the higher end side of things, nice, little glass of Maker's Mark or something like that. You sip on that, nice cigar, something along those lines. I'm kind of there. I don't mind, I like a little goose, from time to time. But you're not supposed to down it, B. That's not how you're supposed to do it. Come on now. Come on now. But this dude here, at one point begins ranting about El Salvador and says that if he was the president, Lord knows we don't want that to happen, but if he was the president, he literally threatened to invade the country unless they sent the people back that was deported. This dude's furious about immigration and makes this wild proclamation, in the middle of a podcast. This guy, man. Oh my goodness. And Annie, I agree with you. Don't overdo anything. No, moderation.
What? If I became president in 2 years from now, or 4 years from now, or 3 years from now, I would pick up the phone and call the fucking president of El Salvador and say, you either fucking send them back or I'm going to fucking invade. It's a fucking crime what they're doing. He's a fucking dictator thug.
Bukele or Trump?
Both.
This guy here, man. Did he just announce that he plans on running for president in 28? Did he just announce that he plans to run for president in 28? Huh? Who voting for this guy? Now I know the Democrat Party, the bench, almost at this point now, I almost think that I could flip the switch and run for office as a Democrat right now. I mean, the bench is so daggone weak. I think anybody could do it. I literally think anybody could do it. Not that I would want to, but I think anybody could do it at this point. But did he just kind of let the cat slip out the bag and let it be known like, hey, he plans on running for president in 28? Who is voting for this guy? Seriously. Who's voting for this guy? Mm-mm-mm. This is wild, man. It's a wild, super wild outburst. The segment alone, just that one segment alone, it was out there. It even triggered a reaction from the actual president of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele, who publicly responded asking if Hunter might be sniffing powdered milk. Oh my goodness. Look at this. Hold up. Let me pull this up. Look at this right here, yo. This dude dropped a tweet here. He says, is Hunter sniffing powdered milk? This dude has lost it, man. He has lost it, bro. Y'all gonna, hey, Hunter Biden for president, man. You can't make this stuff up, man. You cannot make this stuff up, man. The jokes write themselves. The jokes write themselves at this point, man. Just a little side note. I think it is safe to assume that the previous administration shared the same views, maybe more or less, as Hunter when it comes to the border. Imagine what a disaster that would have been had Kamala Harris won. Just imagine. I mean, 30 million people came over. We'll say upwards of 30 million, because I don't think we really have a real number yet. I would hope that, I don't know why we don't have a real number yet, but some people say as low, you get one side that will say as low as about 11 million people that were allowed to come over here, and others will say upwards of about 30 million people that were allowed to come over here. It's entirely too many people that they allowed to come over here. It would have been a complete disaster because the border is basically closed at this point, southern and northern. It's basically shut down. But where we're at, we're in July now, going toward actually almost in August. Man, this year's flying by. We're talking about probably, if we're being aggressive, we're talking about maybe another, I don't know. It would have been maybe 50 to 60 million people that these folks would allow to come over here. You're talking about a full fundamental change. I mean, I think we have 347 million Americans at this point. And if they allowed 30 million in, so that's almost 10% of the nation's population that they allowed in. It would have been a complete disaster had Kamala won, man. And the crazy thing at this point now, you got ABC, they're coming to admit that, there is little to question, that Trump fulfilled a campaign promise. You can't question it at this point. That is a campaign promise that has been fulfilled. Migrant crossings, they've hit record lows. They've hit record lows. Now, we understand that folks don't want to give them credit for it. They don't want to give them credit for it. We know that. Hold on a second. Oh, okay. Here we go.
That Trump promised.
Play. Uh-oh. Technical difficulties today.
Border with Mexico, where there is little question that Trump is fulfilling a campaign promise.
All illegal entry will immediately be halted.
In a matter of months, migrant crossings have hit record lows. Apprehensions at the southern border dropped to 6,072 in the month of June, a massive reduction from the 83,532 apprehensions recorded in June of last year.
Stark difference. Shout out to Hunter with the $5 super chat. Says, if we need a Hunter for president, I would run just so I can floor Biden. Hey, you actually might. I don't know about that, Hunter. I don't know if you'd have a chance, man. I don't know if you had a chance, man. As soon as they find out, that you're a believer in the word of God, I don't think that you can be a Democrat politician and believe in the word of God wholeheartedly. I don't think they would allow it. I don't think they would allow it. Soon as you got on a platform and they started the interview, they would start asking questions to get you to see if you will disavow the word of God. You already know it. They do it all the time. We've seen it entirely too many times. So I don't know if you'd have a chance, Hunter. But I wanted to show you that real quick, because just so people get an understanding, of how much of a bullet, I can't even say bullet, missile, rocket, whatever you want to call it, that we dodged by not allowing the faux black woman to win and to get into office. There's been some blunders. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that the administration is perfect. I'm not saying that Trump is perfect. I'm not saying that, there aren't some things that I'd like to see, handled better. There's definitely been some trouble. There definitely has been some blunders, coming out the Trump administration of late. There definitely has been. Not perfect. But when we compare and contrast, what the other option was, please, still a no-brainer. Still a no-brainer, in my opinion. Again, I'm not out here to cape and say that, everything that Trump has done has been perfect, it's been great, because it hasn't. But I don't expect man to be that. I don't expect man to I don't even give those types of, expectations, because man's flawed. We all fall short of the glory. We all do. We all fall short. But I will say this. I would still vote for President Trump. Even with everything that we know today, he would still get my vote. There is absolutely no way that I would support anything that, Kamala Harris, and the rest of the Democrats. No. There's a couple of little just baseline policies that I'm just like an absolute no on. It's just that we don't even have to get into the economics of things. The fact that these people don't understand basic biology, the fact that these people want pregnancy terminations up to the 9th month with no restrictions around it. And in some cases, you had some of these folks talking about, quote unquote, after birth pregnancy terminations, which that ain't even a pregnancy termination at this point. That's just a flat out homicide at this point. There is just some baseline. The fact that you had people that they couldn't tell you, They couldn't explain to you what a woman is. There's just some baseline, just a couple little baseline issues that I'm just like, that's an absolute no for me. We don't even have to get into the economics of things or the border. We don't have to get into that. We literally got a group of people in the country, that have been pushing some of the most wicked, some of the most demonic, agendas that has been honestly probably known to man. I mean, super wicked, very demonic. So even with the blunders, even with the situation going on, with the Epstein list, I know you had Cash, you had Dan Bongino, you had Pam Bondi saying that, hey, we're going to drop the list. We're going to do this, that, and the third. I hadn't talked about it because I'm like, what is there to talk about other than the fact that y'all said it was going to happen and it hadn't happened yet? They would have been better off just not saying anything. They would have been better off doing that, in my opinion. So, yeah, it hadn't been perfect. But, hey, I would still take the current administration over the previous administration, and it's not close. And it's not even close. We literally could have been stuck with, we could have been stuck with someone like Hunter setting immigration policy for another 4 years. Seriously. Appreciate you, brother. Freeman's Network with the $2 super chat says she's not black, she's Jamaican and East Indian. Okay. Yeah, I would agree with that. Like I said the faux black lady. That's what I said. I said the faux black lady. You know, if you know, you know. But back to the Hunter interview. Because, I mean, it gets even better. It gets even better. This dude lashed out at everyone. Didn't even think to hold back. First, there was a discussion about illegal immigration being a top issue going into the election. And how did Hunter respond? Well, he responded by raging against Democrats for appeasing, you know, what he called a effing Trumpian sense of white voters. You got to see it for yourself. We got to get into it. We got to keep going, you know, with this, because this, you got to watch, y'all got to go watch the entire interview. It is a crash out like none other. Seriously, somebody should have told him, like, bruh, sit down. Don't do this. Maybe somebody should tell him, hey, don't do this again. Or for us, please, because it makes for good content, man. It makes for good content to talk about this dude. This is great for us.
Somehow convinced all of us that these people are the fucking criminals? White men in America are 45 more times likely to commit a fucking violent crime than an immigrant. And the media says, well, you got David Axelrod and, you know, Rahm fucking Emanuel. So fucking smart, Rahm Emanuel. And so we got to understand that these people are really mad. And we got to appeal to these white voters. Rahm, the only people that fucking appealed to those fucking white voters was Joe Biden, 81 years old. And he got 81 million votes, and he did not because he appeased their fucking Trumpian sense, but because he challenged it. And he said, you can be an 81-year-old Catholic from fucking Scranton that doesn't understand it, but still has empathy for transgender people and immigrants. And then nobody said, oh, Joe Biden's going to turn us into a socialist state, no matter how much they said it. But these guys think that we need to run away from all values in order for us to lead. I say, fuck you. How are we getting those people back from fucking El Salvador? Because I'll tell you what, if I became president in 2 years from now, or 4 years from now, or 3 years from now, I would pick up the phone and call the fucking president of El Salvador and say, you either fucking send them back or I'm going to fucking invade. It's a fucking crime what they're doing. He's a fucking dictator thug.
Bukele or Trump?
Both.
Yeah.
They literally brought a new voter block in. They literally brought a new voter block in. I mean, think about this. People don't understand. These folks are playing a long game, man. If let's just say they did bring 30 million people over and strategically place them, they're in strategic areas. They're in California, they're in New York, they're in some other places around the country as well. You know, but the census doesn't account for citizenship. The census only accounts for people. And when the census happens in 2030, when that census happens, it's only going to account the people. And the states that have more people, they would get more seats in the House of Representatives, because the census don't account for citizens. It only accounts for people. And that's why they allow, we'll say, we're just going to use a number, we'll say 30 million people to come over here. A lot of them in California, a lot of them in New York City, a lot of them in Chicago. And then obviously you got your border states, you know, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas. You got Denver, the Denver area. They took a lot of folks. You're talking about places that would get extra seats in the House. These people are playing the long game. And that's the thing that a lot of folks don't understand. Not only that, they come over and they take resources. Now think about this. Pre-1863, or we'll say pre-1865, people of Hunter ilk would say, hey, we need the slaves. If we let them go, who's going to pick the crops? Who's going to pick the cotton, the tobacco? We need them for the industry. Fast forward to 2025 with these illegal immigrants that they exploit. Y'all know it, I know it, that they exploit. You still have Democrats saying, who's going to pick their crops? If we kick these people out, who's going to pick the fruits and the berries? Who's going to work in the sweatshops here in our country that we can exploit? They hadn't changed much, man. They've changed the language. The language has changed. The language has changed. But the message is still the same. The agenda is still the same. They haven't changed. And the crazy thing is, this dude's out here calling President Bukele, President Trump, thugs, when this dude can't say a sentence without dropping the F-bomb. In that little short clip there, he might have dropped the F-bomb 4 or 5 times. This dude's out here talking like, you know what I'm saying? He's talking like the thugs, not a statesman. I mean, it's national decay. But that's beside the point, though. Megyn Kelly, she had Rahm Emanuel, on her show to respond to this interview here. And let's take a look and let's take a listen to what Rahm had to say about this.
Have failed to utter that word in our past. I know this.
But we went 50 minutes here clean.
He's a big fan of it. I don't know. I kind of like Rahm fucking Emanuel. I could see that on a sign, not like a lawn sign for you. Yeah. Your thoughts on his thoughts about you?
I'm kind of feeling for Axelrod right now. He got thrown down in the gutter with me. I've got empathy. I don't. I think we're giving this more time than it's due. That's my own view.
Yeah.
A little empathetic. You have a son who's blinded by his own love for, in effect, and loyalty for his father. And I get that, but not the first phone call I'm going to make for strategery.
Good to hear. He's also been out there and said it there in part that saying the only reason that the Dems lost the last presidential election is because they weren't loyal to his father.
Yeah, Megan, as you probably
it wasn't the crappy agenda, huh? It wasn't that they allowed 30 million people to come through here and suck up all the daggone resources. We got people in our own daggone country. We got Americans right here that could use that assistance. But Hunter didn't stop there. He didn't stop there, though. At one point, he just goes completely off the rails, attacking big name Democrats, Hollywood elites for sabotaging his father re-election bid. Next up in the firing squad, all those, who would publicly criticize the former president after his disastrous debate against President Trump last summer. I mean, this interview, it's the gift that keeps on giving. It really is. It is the gift that keeps on giving, man. Seriously. This dude straight crashed out.
But fuck him. Fuck him and everybody around him. Or not to be fucking nice. Number one, I agree with Quentin Tarantino. Fucking George Clooney is not a fucking actor. He is a fucking, I don't know what he is. He's a brand. And by the way, and God bless him. You know what? He supposedly treats his friends really well. You know what I mean? Buys them things. And he's got a really great...
Hey, how do you drop all these F-bombs and then say, God bless him? What?
Place in Lake Como, and he's great friends with Barack Obama. Fuck you. What do you have to do with fucking anything? Why do I have to fucking listen to you? What right do you have to step on a man who's given 52 years of his fucking life to the service of this country and decide that you, George Clooney, are going to take out basically a full-page ad in the fucking New York Times to me and James Carville, who hasn't run a race in 40 fucking years, and David Axelrod, who had one success in his political life, and that was Barack Obama. And that was because of Barack Obama, not because of fucking David Axelrod. And David Plouffe, and all of these guys, and the Pod Save America guys, who were junior fucking speechwriters on Barack Obama's Senate staff, who've been dining out on the relationship with him for years, making millions of dollars. The Anita Dunns of the world, who's made $40–50 million off the Democratic Party, they're all going to insert their judgment over a man who has figured out, unlike anybody else, how to get elected to the United States Senate over 7 times, how to pass more legislation than any president in history, how to have a better midterm election than anybody in history, and how to garner more votes than any president that has ever run. And they're going to replace their judgment for his.
Not to mention
Who's Jake Tapper's audience? Jake Tapper?
my mom or something. I don't know.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
For real, though. I don't even think it's your mom anymore.
No,
because
no.
by the numbers, what influence does Jake Tapper have over anything? He has the smallest audience on cable news. And beyond that, I think that the book is right now on Amazon that he put out. I mean, his ratings just went to shit after he put the book out. You know, they did a 2-week infomercial for it. I mean, it was such a money grab, such a disservice to everybody that he serves with.
Wow. This dude just crashed out and just, hey, everybody can get it. That's basically Tupac hit him up right there. the Hunter Biden version. Goodness gracious. So according to Hunter, Democrats lost because they weren't loyal enough to the leader. While Hunter is out here trying to do damage control, Dr. Jill Biden's close advisor, Anthony Bernal, just pleaded the fifth in front of Congress when asked whether Joe Biden had ever considered pardoning his own son. Not exactly a reassuring look. And let's be honest, man. When someone who works that closely with the First Lady refuses to answer a basic question about presidential fitness or pardons, it tells you everything that you need to know. And let's be real. Hunter's rant, total crash out. Complete crash out. He came across as super emotional, unstable, incoherent, very bitter. It looked like he might have hit the pipe before he went on this interview. He looks like he might have hit the pipe before the interview. Seriously. Especially, I mean, the mouth don't lie. If you know, you know. And if you really pay attention, this wasn't just about policy. It was personal. He lashed out at establishment Democrats, people like George Clooney, James Carville, David Axelrod, the Pod Save America crew, because they dare to question his father's ability to lead. According to Hunter, all of these guys are sellouts who rode Barack Obama's coattail and made millions off their political connections. And the way he talks, I mean, vulgar, smug, entitled. I mean, it just makes you wonder, what Joe Biden's like behind closed doors. Because let's not kid ourselves. Hunter didn't come out of nowhere. He learned this behavior from somewhere. And, if this is how the president's son behaves, what does that say about the man himself? It makes perfect sense that this administration has embraced radical immigration policies, radical gender policies. I mean, the guy literally defends open borders by saying, who else is going to clean your hotel room or mow your lawn? As if Americans are too good for honest work. That's the liberal elitism that we're talking about here. They don't see immigrants as people. They just see them as servants, here to exploit. But that is who they are. Again, I go back. We go back 100 years. At this point, I guess 200 years. Not 200 years. We go back to 1865 or pre. They were having these same types of conversations. And here's the irony. Democrats used to justify slavery by saying the South couldn't survive without it. Now they're justifying illegal immigration with the same logic. It's modern day economic slavery, but with a woke smile attached to it. And if you question it, if you say anything about it, you're the bad guy. I covered a story maybe about, maybe 2 weeks ago, about, this is a Mexican guy out of California. He was talking about the exploitation that happens, on the farms out there in California, forcing these people to work overtime with no pay, forcing these people to work extra days with no pay, no additional pay, cutting people's pay just because they can, threatening that, hey, if you don't work more, we're going to call immigration on you. That's who these people are. That's what they've been doing. And the reality of it is just like their party's history, you know, with slavery, Democrats never seem to learn from their mistakes. Never. They are who they are. They have not changed. The problem is you got entirely too many people that believe otherwise. But I'm a firm believer that when people tell you who they are, believe them. But when people show you who they are, believe them. Now let's get back to the comments on James Carville real quick. I am no fan of James Carville at all. Southern Dixiecrat out of Louisiana, no fan of that clown. But even he has been sounding the alarm about the Democrats' internal chaos for quite some time. And his take, it just adds some fuel to the fire. He had an interview with the Wall Street Journal. I want to share this with you guys. Give me a second. He had an interview with the not the Wall Street Journal, but the New York Times on Monday. And he said some things, you know, on Monday. You know, he published this. I guess it wasn't an interview. It was more of an essay published on the New York Times. Carville called the Democrats constipated. He called them leaderless. He called them confused. And he's just out here laying it bare. The Democrats are a crack clown car right now, divided by ideology and generation, with figures like Zoran Mondani pushing socialist policies that even he finds risky. And even Carville thinks that these people are entirely too much. And what we've seen with Hunter, you know, that's just another symptom of the same dysfunction that Carville's been warning about. You know, Hunter's defense of open borders and his wild threat to invade El Salvador, you know, just echo the radical fringe that Carville fears is taking over. And the reality of it is, it's not even they are taking over. I think they have taken over. We just hadn't seen it completely manifest itself yet. I mean, we're talking policies that prioritize ideology over practicality, just like Mondani's government-run grocery stores. This is ridiculous. I mean, it's the same elitism, you know, Carville criticizes. Where's the party leadership? Most of them seem to be out of touch, you know, or unable to unify or lead. And Hunter's vulgar entitlement, dismissing Americans' concerns about immigration while defending a system that exploits cheap labor. I mean, it's basically what Carville is getting to here. And the party's lost sight of the working families, the working class. They say that they're trying to fight for. But it's not the truth. They brag that the economy was great because the stock market was doing well. But the reality of it is that most people in America don't have money in the stock market. Most don't. Although I think you should, personally, but most people don't have anything invested in the stock market. And those of us that did have a surplus prior to the previous administration, you know, a lot of folks had to spend a lot of that money. Whatever money they did have saved, whatever money they did have invested, they had to pull that money out and spend that money. And Hunter's meltdown, I mean, hey, it's not just ideology. You can tell that he's furious because he feels like he's been betrayed. He feels like his father's been betrayed. That's what this is really about. That's what this is really about. It's really about the fact that he feels like after serving for 50 some odd years, and honestly, you know, I mean, when we think about the policies of Joe Biden, the 88 crack laws, the 94 crime bill, you know, locking people into student loans, that happened. He was part of that process where you couldn't discharge a student loan during a bankruptcy. That happened on his, he was a part of that process in the early 2000s. We could go down the list, you know what I'm saying, of some of just the policies. Let's not even talk about the things that the man has said. We don't even got to talk about the things that he said. We just got to talk about the things that he has done. I mean, the Democrat Party, the Democrat Party basically decided that, hey, we're done with the Biden family. And they turn it back, and this dude's crashing out. He's upset about it. And in his mind, that also means that they turn their backs on everybody on that side of things. Jill, Hunter, the entire Biden family. All these consultants and talking heads who once, sang Joe Biden's praises are now calling for him not just to step down, just to go away. And Hunter, to an extent, I understand. If my father, was like that, I'd probably defend him too. Not in the way that he's doing it or that he did it. I probably wouldn't have went that route, but I understand him defending his dad. I do get that. That is his father. I do get that. And I understand why he feels the way that he feels. And that's why he's lashing out, trying to speak for the entire Biden clan. He's basically the Biden attack dog now, saying the things that Joe Biden probably wants to say, but he can't, or before he actually forgets to say it. And another thing that he said during the interview, I want you guys to check this out. Let me see if I can pull it up for you guys. Let me see if I think this is it right here. Yeah, I want you guys to see this right here. This little short, man, I hate when that happens. Give me a second. Technical difficulties here. All right, there we go.
I know exactly what happened in that debate. He flew around the world, basically, in the mileage that he could have flown around the world 3 times.
Yeah.
He's 81 years old. He's tired as shit. They give him Ambien to be able to sleep. He gets up on the stage, and he looks like he's a deer in the headlights. And I know exactly what happened in that debate. He flew around the world, basically, in the mileage that he could have flown around the world 3 times.
Yeah.
He's 81 years old. He's tired as shit. They give him Ambien to be able to sleep. He gets up on the stage, and he looks like he's a deer in the headlights.
And there you have it. Biden on Ambien before the debate. I mean, some would say that this is big news. Some would say that. I think a lot of us thought that something was off. I think a lot of us thought that. But remember how after the debate, or actually before the debate, how everyone said that, or I guess it was after the debate that everyone said that he seemed like he was on, that Biden seemed like he was on drugs, disoriented, woozy, confused, during the debate. It could have been true. Could have been true. But let's check out what my guy Scott Jennings had to say about this.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Scott Jennings Show, the Bidens are not over it in any way, shape, or form, but in perhaps some of the biggest news that Hunter Biden made. Do you remember when President Donald Trump, back during the campaign, said that he thought maybe Joe Biden had been drugged around the debate? And everybody said, oh, there goes Donald Trump again. For the first time, I think we are hearing confirmation from Hunter Biden that Joe Biden, the president of the United States, was on Ambien.
I know exactly what happened in that debate. He flew around the world, basically, in the mileage that he could have flown around the world 3 times.
Yeah.
He's 81 years old. He's tired as shit. They give him Ambien to be able to sleep. He gets up on the stage, and he looks like he's a deer in the headlights.
Now, I did a quick Google search on Ambien. It is a sedative hypnotic medication used to treat insomnia. Common side effects include drowsiness, dizziness, and impaired coordination. And Hunter Biden has confirmed that Joe Biden, as president, was, at least in one case, heavily impaired by the taking of Ambien. I mean, his explanation for the debate in Atlanta is that the president was impaired by taking Ambien. It begs the question, how much impairment, drug-induced impairment, was the president of the United States experiencing while he was the president?
Wow, Scott Jennings show. All right. Yeah, so, hey, we don't know. Could it have been Ambien? Maybe. I mean, I don't think a doctor would prescribe Ambien to a sitting president before going out in public. But hey, stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. But what we do know is that they let a man who was clearly cognitively impaired run the country for 4 years while trying everything in their power to hide it from the public. And now the troubled son is out there spilling the beans and letting everyone know how the Bidens feel about him. And let's not forget, Jake Tapper said it best. He described Hunter as probably sleazy and someone prone to horrible decisions. And when you look at the record, I mean, it's hard to argue that. Based off of what we just saw today, hard to argue that. You know, and after his brother passed, Hunter cheated with his brother's widow, got her hooked on crack, and continued spiraling. You got to be a dirtbag to do something along those lines. Seriously, you got to be a real dirty dude to do something along those lines. This isn't just a troubled man. This is someone who, by his own admission, was steering the Biden family. And that, ladies and gentlemen, should terrify everyone, no matter what your political leanings are. If that dude was in charge, steering the ship, oh my goodness. Sheesh. And at the end of the day, I mean, this interview wasn't just a car crash, man. I mean, it was a window into the soul of the Biden White House and a window, you know, into the problems of the Democratic Party. The Democrats, they are literally eating themselves alive right now. And we're all watching it happen in real time. So yeah, Hunter Biden, yeah, he's back. And if this rant tells us anything, it's that the Bidens are still fuming, they're still out of touch, and they're still blaming everyone but themselves for their failures. I hope this isn't the last interview that he does. I hope it is not the last interview that he does. Please do more. Seriously, please do more. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm not sure where we are with the likes, man, but make sure y'all hit that like button for me if you haven't done so already. My blues, let me know where we are with the likes. We got 375 people in here. Let me know where we are. Let's make sure we get those likes up, man. We should be at 375 or so. We probably should be a little more than that. But y'all make sure we do it. I want to read a couple super chats real fast, and we're going to keep it moving. Give me a second here. All right, shout out to Jeffrey Wisnett. Says that Democrats were slave owners then and they're slave owners now. They just have different ways of doing it now. Yeah, true. True. Shout out to Hunter with the $10 super chat. Says I should probably put a disclosure that Hunter Biden does not represent the rest of us hunters in the world. Yeah, you might need to put that out there, man. Public service announcement. Shout out to Spaces with the $2 super chat. Says Bill Cosby outliving Malcolm is kind of crazy. It is. Yes, it is, man. Shout out to Matt Green with the $5 super chat. Says Wise Congress should subpoena Corn Pop to testify on what corrupt Joe is really like. Hey, Joe said Corn Pop was a bad dude, man. I don't even know if that story is real. I don't even know if that story is true. Shout out to Red Bucks with the $5 super sticker, man. Thank you very much for supporting the channel this morning. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Hey, that would be nice. Could somebody find Corn Pop? Somebody find him? He don't even need to testify, man. Just get on the interview. Get on somebody's podcast and let them interview you. Somebody need to do the research on Corn Pop. Who is this guy? Find us Corn Pop. All right, I want to move on. I'm done beating on Hunter. But I want to talk about some good news that's on the horizon. I want to talk about some good news, and I think I'm really glad to see this this happening. I really am. Hold up a second here. Uh-oh. All right, there we go. But yeah, I'm all right, here we go. Let's keep it going.
MAGA baby savings accounts for children that are born before January 1st, 2024, under 8 years old, U.S. citizens, and have at least one parent with a valid Social Security number. And when this tax provision becomes law, the child will, if the parents seek to do this, will be set up with a savings account. Essentially, it's a 401k for a newborn baby, and child's relatives, their parents, can contribute up to $5,000 per year of after-tax dollars annually to that account. And then later in the baby's life, at age 25, savings account holders can withdraw up to the full balance of the account. Upon reaching 30, the account holders can access the full balance of the account for any purpose desired. So it's a great initiative for new parents.
Hey, that's awesome, man. That is awesome. That is something that, you know, a lot of I can't even say wealthier people. I would just say financially literate people. That is something that they've been doing for quite some time. Those of us that are financially literate, that understand how money works. I like the idea. You know, with everything that we spend, you know, having, you know, when you have a kid, first off, an incentive to have children. That's one. Because Lord knows we need more kids. I'd like to see it done, you know, within the confines of a marriage. And I'd like to see, you know, those children be in a household with their mother and their father. We need more and more of that. We're not at a pace right now. I think we're at 1.7. We need to be at 2.4 for the replacement rate. And we need to up, you know, our births in the nation. That's something that needs to happen. That is something that needs to happen across the board. So giving people an incentive, $1,000 that goes into an investment account for these kids, you have the ability on an annual basis to put upwards of $5,000 in it, in that account. Now think about this, man. If you could do that, if you found a way to do that for your child and each one of your children, I do agree with you, Jill. I think it should be pre-tax, not post-tax. I do agree, but I think the reason why it is pre-tax or post-tax, because I think it's post-tax, because when it's all said and done, you won't have to pay. It's not like your 401k or something like that, where, you know, when you start pulling money out of it, they tax you on it, tax you on that money. You know, I think that is huge. Now, this situation is something that I did for my kids. I opened them up investment accounts when they were younger, and I would put money in their account. I had it in both of their names. They would get statements that would come to their name just so they knew, like, hey, I actually got some money for holidays, birthdays, Christmas, things of that nature. When family members would give money, you know, I would always take half of whatever it is that they got. So if they got $100, you know, from grandma or whatever the case may be, half of that got to go. It has to be invested. And by the time they got it all when they graduated, and that money was used, you know, to help them buy cars and things of that nature, to get their life started. So they didn't have to jump out here and, you know, get in debt for cars and things of that nature. We were able to use, you know, that money once they graduated high school, you know, so they could get their first car and things of that nature, which was awesome. And hopefully it set an example of what can be done when you start stacking and start saving and then investing money. I love the idea. I love the idea. And it's an opportunity to give back to American citizens. I love it. The one big beautiful bill that was recently signed into law, you know, it allows millions of babies born in the United States to receive a $1,000 Trump account. And these accounts, which are created by the government for those under 18 years old, are designed to help young people start investing early. Everybody talks about wealth. Everybody talks about, you know, building wealth, but you can't save your way to wealth. You have to invest your way to wealth. So having an account this actually helps even the parents, because this is a conversation starter around financial literacy in your households. Children born between January 1st of this year and December 31st of 2028 are eligible for a one-time $1,000 payment into their Trump accounts, courtesy of the federal government. Parents and relatives can contribute up to $5,000 each year into that account until the child turns 18. So if you do the math on that, without the investment aspect of it, because obviously, your money is going to grow, but after 10 years, we'll be looking at 50,000. After by 18, that would have been, what is that, $90,000, put into that account. $90,000 put into that account. And then over 18 years, when you start seeing how money works and how it compounds, I mean, you're talking about a nice nest egg for young people when they graduate high school. I mean, it's phenomenal. After 2027, that $5,000 number may be adjusted for inflation. So it could have the ability to put more into said account for your children, because it will adjust for inflation. And then the child can access that money, which must be delivered, in low cost stock mutual funds and exchange traded funds. If you guys aren't familiar, I'm not a financial advisor. Just saying, not a financial advisor. I got to say this. I'm more inclined to ETFs. You have ETFs, exchange traded funds, that are based off of the S&P 500. What we do know with that, what we do know about the S&P 500 since its inception, it's pretty much gone up. I believe it's been about 8% on an annual basis, which right now would be anywhere between 4 to 5% more than what you could get out of a regular savings account. And if you had money invested in the S&P 500 just last year alone, the S&P went up 25% last year. So you think about it, any of these kids, once they get to that point, there's going to be some really good years and your money is going to grow. And, when you start talking about, ETFs, what we do know is the S&P, it hasn't failed us yet. I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm telling you, do your own research, do your own due diligence. But it is a good route to go when it comes to investing in things of that nature. And if you have children, if you have grandchildren, this is something that we started doing with my nieces and nephews. I told my sister, I told my brother, I told my mom, hey, Uncle Wise is not buying toys anymore. I'm not buying you any toys. I'm not buying video games. I'm not buying that. When I send you something, it is money that is going into your investment account. That's what I'm sending. It's the gift that keeps on giving. And people got to understand that when you get into these things, especially when you get into some of these ETFs and things of that nature, they pay a quarterly dividend and it goes up for the most part on an annual basis. You can almost write in and book the 8% growth. Like I said, last year was 25% growth in the S&P 500 last year. Goldman Sachs CEO David Solomon, he responded in the statement saying that, this initiative gets at the core of binding those future generations to benefits and the potential of America's great companies and markets. Early childhood investments have a far-reaching benefit. And Goldman Sachs says that they're proud to support the initiative. Our economy's future vitality, is dependent upon young people understanding the power of investing for the long term. It's extremely important. I know having financial conversations with family members, with your family, with your children, it can be a little taboo. A lot of people don't like to have those types of conversations. But I think you should. It shouldn't be a taboo topic. It shouldn't. And that's why, even for me, just letting them know, like, hey, I'm not buying any more toys for my nieces and my nephews. I'm not doing that. I don't do that. I'm going to give you money. Hey, we're going to invest in the market. And we're going to let that money grow until y'all can, get it when you graduate high school. Maybe it can pay for trade school. Maybe it pays, a little bit for, whatever they do. Or maybe it's money that they can buy a car. Maybe it's money that would help them, maybe potentially buy a home in the near future. The number one way that Americans generate wealth in the country is through homeownership. That's the number one way. The number two way, is through investing in this way, investing in the markets. That's the number two way that people generate wealth in our nation. But the number one way is through homeownership. The Trump accounts are basically a 401k style savings plan for newborns. But more importantly, this is great for a country that's been struggling with declining births, with the declining birth rates, and economic uncertainty. And the White House calls it a way to afford a generation of children the chance to experience the miracle of compound growth. And they're not wrong. And unlike welfare programs that trap people into dependency, this is about empowerment. They're not trying to take the money from you, or they're not trying to just give you enough to survive, never enough to thrive. It's not there. This is about helping you to build for your children. I mean, this would be phenomenal. This is phenomenal for them. It's a financial head start. It's not a handout. It's a financial head start, teaching kids early about the value of investing and personal responsibility. But it's bigger than just dollars and cents. This bill is pro-family in a way that we haven't seen in years in our country. The U.S. birth rate hit a historic low of 1.6 children per woman in 2023. Well below the replacement rate. Well below the replacement rate at this point. And that's a problem. That's a problem when you're trying to sustain a workforce and a culture. And by giving families a financial boost and incentivizing early investment, the government is sending a clear message: having kids isn't just a personal choice. It's an investment in America's future. And the bill's other provisions like tax breaks for tips, tax breaks on overtime, it also puts more money into the pockets of working class Americans, working parents, making it easier to start and grow families. And beyond the Trump tax account and tax breaks for the tips and overtime, imagine expanding support with more targeted policies, additional tax credits for parents to ease the burden of childcare costs. Or how about eliminate the income tax altogether? I'm 100% for it. But this is a good start. It's a step toward a culture that celebrates parenthood, not punish it. Now, I want to see, more incentives for marriage, and I want to see more incentives for children being raised, in nuclear families. I'd like to see, but this is a really good start. This is a really good start. But I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. That's all I have for you guys, man. Appreciate you all pulling up. I got to say, man, being a parent, it is a blessing. I'm not going to say it's easy. I raised two kids. They're both doing very well today. Still growing. My youngest, he just graduated high school about a year ago. So still growing, things of that nature. But it's a beautiful thing, man. It really is. It is a beautiful thing. But as always, man, I appreciate you guys pulling up, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, man. Thank you to everyone that supported the channel financially this morning. I do appreciate that. Shout out to all my ARP family members, man. Thank you guys for supporting the channel in that way financially on a month-to-month basis, man. I do appreciate you guys, man. Shout out to the Blues, B, Zephyr K9. Who else? Who else we got in here? I think T.A. Caskey was up in here for a little bit. Larry Montgomery, I think I might have seen him as well. Shout out to you guys, man. Thank you guys for keeping things peaceful in the chat. Shout out to Kendall World with the $2 super chat. Thank you very much, brother. Appreciate you supporting the channel, man. Thank you very much. Definitely appreciate it, man. Hey, again, we got to end it on this note, man. Again, thoughts, prayers, and condolences to Malcolm Jamal Warner's family. I know he has children, and I know they're hurting right now. So I just want to send my thoughts and prayers to them, and hey, just say rest in peace, man. Rest in peace. You'll be missed. Thank you, Mike C, for the $2 super chat. He says the Biden breaking news was fantastic. Thank you very much, man. And sorry about the language, man. I couldn't bleep it out. but it probably makes more sense. It probably made more sense to leave it in just so you guys got a chance to see how unhinged this individual is. Goodness gracious. It was a crash out like no other. Crash out like no other, man. But thank you guys, man, for pulling up this morning, man. Keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you all tomorrow, Lord willing, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for ARP in the morning, man. Y'all take care, man. Stay blessed.
Vibes so raw, can't hide the truth. Words so sharp,